Great. Hi, everybody. It's Georgia Rose from the Zencuda Soul Space Community. Welcome to my show, the Soul Space Podcast. Tonight, I am actually broadcasting from my home, which this is actually my healing room where I do a lot of Reiki and a lot of meditation, yoga, and all kinds of things every day by myself. And then sometimes I have people, private sessions that I do here. Sometimes we have another healing room downstairs in my house I use, but oftentimes with good friends. If I'm doing chart work or something, we'll come in and sit in this room. So this room has a lot of energy. So welcome to my soul space. And we're going to get started tonight. Happy Memorial Day weekend. I always think, even though it's not the summer solstice, that Memorial Day weekend is kind of the start of summer. I live in the Eastern United States, and many times when we have Memorial Day weekend, it's still a little chilly here, but we've had an absolutely stunning and beautiful weekend this weekend. It has been temps in the 70s and sunny, a lot of beach weather, great time to get out with family and friends, which is always such a grateful feeling, especially since all of these pandemics and sequesterings we've had recently. So I would love it if you all could share the show. I would love to grow our community more and more. As you know, even though we're not live tonight, this is a community for support and online help and healing for you on your soul journey. The Soul Space Podcast is every Monday night on Strong Island Television and every podcast network that you can think of. We're on, everywhere from channel 115 on Cablevision, Optimum Online, to all kinds of podcast networks, Apple Podcasts, everywhere. As a matter of fact, you can even ask your to play the most recent Soul Space with Georgia Rose, and she will. So thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to share the show, thank you. And we're going to get started with a little astrology. On this show, sometimes I have special guests. Sometimes we talk about spiritual work. Sometimes we talk about whatever's on my mind. Sometimes we have a call-in person or a comment that they talk about whatever's on their mind. So this is really all kinds of inspirational stuff. I do a lot of astrology and also card readings on the show. And I am a psychic intuitive, a third-generation tarot card reader. And basically, I try to be not an influencer. I never want to be an influencer on social media, but I do want to be an inspirational being, so that maybe when you leave the show, you think about something that resonates with you and you have your own mindset, not something anyone has influenced you about. So I want to jump right into the astrology this week. We have a really big week with astrology because we have a full moon coming in on Saturday. And this particular full moon is very potent and very powerful. It's in the sign of Sagittarius. And it is, as you know, Sagittarians, you have heard me speak about it on the show. I'm a Sag rising, which is why I'm a little outgoing and kind of like party. I like to party. Those are Saggies. Sagittarian energy is an energy of outgoingness. It's an energy of truth. When we're in Sagittarius energy, we are really going to seek the truth. Truth will be revealed in this full moon. Most of the time, full moons do that anyway. But when we have an energy like Sagittarius, it's really going to be about a higher level of integrity, higher learning. Sagittarius also can represent travel, foreign people, from your own, whatever your own heritage is. It will be someone who's foreign to you, foreign languages, foreign study. So if you've been trying to manifest anything like that in your life, setting intentions during this full moon on Saturday can really, really help you move that forward in a powerful way. So since I'm recording from home this evening, I have the ability to share my screen with you. And I am going to do that and show you the chart as it stands on Saturday for the full moon. So let me do that for you. And this is the full moon chart. And basically, this chart shows all the planets that, as of Saturday, what will be happening. But because some of the planets move super slow, this also shows you a little bit about what the planets are like as far as basically this whole week, So just want to change one thing. I'm going to stop my share for one moment. I want to change one thing up here. Okay. Okay. Just going to share my screen again. Thanks for bearing with me. You guys are always so great. Whoops. Gotta change some settings. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. You guys are the best. Okay, here we go. I'm going to show you the chart. I know you've been waiting to see it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and share this beautiful chart. Okay, so this is the chart of the moment. And what happens with a lot of the slow moving planets is, even though this is a chart for Saturday, this is where the planets are pretty much going to be, a lot of them, for the whole week, except of course the moon, which moves very quickly. So let me give you a really condensed astrology lesson about this full moon and help you to see exactly what's going on with it. So basically, when we have a full moon, it means that the sun and the moon are absolutely parallel to each other or opposite each other in the chart. So you can see the moon here is at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. You see this arrow, that is a symbol for Sagittarius. Sagittarius is the arrow aiming farther and higher. And we are at 13 degrees of Sagittarius, where the moon will be on Saturday. And then exactly opposite the sky, we've got the sun at 13 degrees of Gemini. So what is the first thing we want to look at in the full moon is, what is the Gemini Sagittarian axis? What does that bring? What kind of energy when the moon's in Sag and the sun is in Gemini? Well, the moon in Sag is a fire sign. So it's a great time to do fire ceremony, candle gazing. If you are an earth or water sign or air sign and you don't have a lot of fire in your chart, this is a great full moon to bring in that inner fire, you know, really set a goal and be determined about what you want to release and let go of in your life, and give it the motivation of that fire energy. And then the sun in Gemini is air. What does that mean? It's communication. Air sign, especially in Gemini, is communication. It's ruled by the planet Mercury, which is all things mercurial. Anything that has to do with communication, especially over the internet, texting, social media, computers, futuristic energy, speaking, talking. So right off the bat, that axis tells me that this full moon is going to bring in an energy of firelight and communication in air from Gemini. Now think about those elements, fire and air. What happens between fire and air? Air feeds fire, right? But fire can also smother or suffocate the air. So that's the balance. That's the axis of the Sagittarius and Gemini axis, is using communication for balance in a motivated way. Assertion, fire, right? Fire is something that you can either scorch the earth and burn everything down, or you can use it for heat, for warmth, for sustenance with making food, right? So you're going to look for something in your chart where you need to release something or let go of something that you need to communicate to yourself or someone else, that is an energy, that is something that you need to have more motivation about, have more fire about. And you're also going to use that Gemini energy, which oftentimes is duality. It's right or wrong, black or white. Well, you're going to use that Sagittarian energy of higher learning to find the compromise in that. So in short, this is a full moon that's going to bring in Sagittarian truth, revelations regarding communication from Gemini. And it's also going to be fire, which is revelations about the truth and high integrity. It's going to dissolve whatever is outmoded or no longer serves us. And the Gemini sun is going to illuminate anything in your life that needs a talk, that needs communication, that needs to somehow share an ideal or a boundary or something that you have been needing to speak up about, but you haven't. So something fiery, something that is really going to bring you to your higher truth, Sagittarius, but you need to do it in a very balanced communication way and use the air of Gemini. Now, there's a few other things happening in this full moon that are very, very important. First thing I want to talk about is we still have all of this Taurus energy here. You can see where my little cursor is. This Taurus energy down here in the chart, you can see this little circle with the antlers coming out. That's the symbol for Taurus. That's the bull. We have 4 planets right now in Taurus. We've got the north node of the moon, which is our truth, our destiny. Again, symbolization, themes of truth, revealing truth, bringing truth to light. We've also got Jupiter that just went into Taurus. Jupiter amplifies anything it's near or touches. We've got the north node, that integrity, that direction. You know, think of the north and the compass. The north node of the chart is where you're supposed to be going in your destiny. And then we've got Jupiter at 4 degrees, 2 degrees smacked up against that north node, expanding the energy. Jupiter expands everything it touches. When Jupiter touches the North Node, it's going to expand your destiny. It's going to bring in things in your life that are going to be opportunity, but it's also going to reveal the things that are your blockages. Remember, moon's in Sagittarius, that fire sign bringing in truth. Then we have Mercury at 19 degrees of Taurus right here. That's that little circle with the ears and the little cross. It looks like radio antennas. Mercury is our mind. It is the way we think, the things we think about. It's our communication as far as other realms and other people. And then right next to it at 20 degrees, we have Uranus. The planet Uranus is known as the Great Awakener. It's sudden, shocking surprises. So you get in the theme here. We've got all these truth, revelations coming out, leading us to our destiny. They may be uncomfortable, but they're coming up to clear space for what we really are supposed to be meant to do. So now there's 2 conjunctions here and 4 planets. Where we see this 2 and this 4, those are the degrees of Taurus that we have the North Node and Jupiter in. So they're in conjunct. They're what we call next to each other or in a conjunction, slapped against each other. That's why their energies are amplified, that energy of our destiny, where the universe wants to take us, what we're born to do, what this lifetime is about for us. And Jupiter just expanding and bringing, hopefully, opportunity to that energy. But remember, Jupiter will expand whatever it touches. So if it's something where you haven't been living up to full potential, Jupiter is going to expand that area so that you absolutely have to fix it. And then we have this, like I just said, we've got this Mercury and Uranus also in a conjunction, only 1 degree apart during this full moon. What does that mean? Well, it means that these planets are feeding off each other. Mercury, our minds, what we think about, the way we communicate. And Mercury can also be money, right? Mercantile. Slapped against this Uranus, that Great Awakener, the energy of shocking, sudden surprises. This can be a little bit of upheaval in the stock market. It can be upheaval in finances. It can also be, because we have Jupiter expanding the energy here, it can be a windfall, or it can be something really good in finances. So that's the energy that this full moon brings in. It may be an energy where something changes in your finances. One door opens and another closes. So the other thing I want to point out about this beautiful planet Uranus, known as the Great Awakener, is at 20 degrees of Taurus, at 20 degrees of Taurus, this planet is in a degree that it has not been in since 1939, 1940. And we all know what those years were like financially in the financial markets. Taurus energy does rule financial markets. It rules our resources, food supplies. It rules our own personal resources. And sometimes when we have this type of energy in Taurus with this many planets, I think it's probably going to, in some way in our personal lives, play out as a push to be doing something with our own personal resources, really linking in and becoming more in touch with our own true nature and what our resources individually and uniquely are and what we can bring to ourselves and the world. That's a really beautiful energy. And then, last but not least, we have this moon at 13 degrees Sagittarius is right alongside, right on something that we call the Great Attractor. What is the Great Attractor? The Great Attractor is a phenomenon at 13 degrees Sagittarius that is actually a huge black hole in space. It's one of the largest black holes that we have, second only to the galactic center, which is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius. So at 13 degrees Sagittarius, with the moon there, the sun opposing it in a full moon, this really highlights the energy of 13 degrees Sagittarius and the Great Attractor. The Great Attractor is a black hole. It's like a huge vacuum in space that just sucks up anything that comes near it. It's also very symbolic of the dissolution of time, time warps, time boundaries, the dissolution of time that, as we know it. So when we have this energy slapped up against the Great Attractor, this is an energy where time is going to almost bend. We're going to feel time differences, time hops. We're going to feel that perhaps we can actually bend time, morph time. Time will begin to dissolve. And this is going to continue throughout the year for us because we have Neptune, this planet right here at 27 degrees of Pisces, which is squaring the great galactic center at 27 degrees Sagittarius, which isn't shown on this chart. But when we have energy like this, what will happen is you're going to see that it will really play in spiritually to the dissolution of time, 3D. We're going to find ourselves morphing into higher dimensions. We're going to find ourselves in situations where we feel like time is either stood still or time is speeding up. Maybe you might have a sensation. I know this sounds really hokey and really crazy, but I also know there's a lot of us out there already experiencing this, where maybe you will be, I'll give you an example, a very, very mild example. I was clothes shopping the other day. Ooh, that's a surprise. And I picked up a blouse and literally had a flashback of a garment, a blouse that I owned when I was 6. Completely had never even remembered this shirt. But all of a sudden, as soon as I got tactile and felt this blouse in the store, all of a sudden this sense memory of this blouse that I used to love when I was a little girl came through like whoosh. It was like time dissolved. And sometimes we'll have things like that and we'll get premonitions about the future. And this is very, very prevalent, especially when we have a full moon coming in this Saturday at the 13 degrees of Sagittarius, the Great Awakener. People with planets and angles, you know, their ascendant, descendant, their MC or IC, any planet in the chart that is right at 13 degrees of the Great Awakener in Sagittarius, those are your highly psychic people. Those are people who can almost bend time and morph into other realms and see around corners. I have my ascendant at exactly 13 degrees of Sagittarius. And that's why I'm a psychic. That's why sometimes I have premonitions. I know things. I see things. I can literally see future or past if I go into a meditative state and go there, or if I'm doing a reading. So that doesn't make me special. Lots of people have things at 13 degrees Sagittarius, but it's just something where people who have any aspect there can see around corners. And that's what this energy is symbolic of. So during this full moon, I really encourage you all to do some kind of fire ceremony, to do something that, because it's Sagittarius, the fire sign, to do something that will allow you to go into a space of contemplation, introspection, meditation, and really try and contact that beautiful soul space within, because we have some wonderful opportunity right now from the cosmos that's really going to give us a heightened sense of psychic ability. And you're going to see this happen with a lot of people come from now to 2024. Psychic ability will be extremely heightened. I caution you, please, 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 when you are looking for psychic ability, someone to sit with in a reading, something that you really feel is on your radar to do, if you are undergoing things where you are feeling like you are becoming more open to your own psychic energy, please, please seek out reputable people. Because in an energy like this, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to throw up a sign, throw something up on Facebook and say, I'm doing soul readings, I'm doing healing work, I'm doing blah, 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 blah. You do not want people in your energy field that are not absolutely in complete and total love. That is the only energy that you should ever be working in light, working in love, and really having someone's best interests at heart. It's almost sad for me that I have to say that, but there are so many people I see every day, that some I know personally, that I know their energy is really not healthy to be going into other energy fields. And you'd be surprised how sometimes someone can call themselves a healer. Maybe they're having an issue themselves. They're having some dark energy, or they're having just some discomfort with something. And then they go to do a healing session or a reading with you. And now that energy comes out in it and becomes part of your energy field. So really, really be careful. If I've scared you a little bit, I've done my job. Really be careful of that. Now, I do not feel that you should be fearful of it. I feel that you should just really do your discernment and your due diligence when you go to practitioners in spiritual fields, especially for spiritual wisdom and guidance. Enough said. That's my PSA for the day. So this moon is going to, Mercury's absolutely out of shadow now, but remember it's conjuncting Uranus, so it's very powerful. That Mercury energy is really, especially with the sun in Gemini ruled by Mercury, we're really going to have a lot of communication coming in, fast and furious. It's going to be like, in the news media, in the social media, in your jobs, in your families, anywhere where there's a hub of communication, it's going to start to really, it's almost like, what am I supposed to do with all this information? That's how we're going to feel. Also, if you are someone who works in other realms, angelic energy, psychics, alien energy, anything like that, you really want to make sure that you are giving yourself time to process energy, because the energy of communication will come in very, very fast. When I first started working with angelic realms, my angels used to give me a lot of things that I couldn't really grasp. And I would just simply say, angels, please slow down. I can't really understand. And they will do that for you. I know a lot of you guys watch them think I'm wacky, but it's all intention, babies. It's all intention. So just want to really talk about the fact that this is awakening energy. The energy that's coming through and being initiated with this new moon is energy of awakening. It's energy that the universe wants us to have an awakening. Now, I don't mean like you're going to start, wearing robes and sandals and going to, an ashram, or you're going to tour the Himalayas and live in a monastery. By awakening, I mean it could be a very simple awakening where you suddenly see something that is true, that has been true all along and you haven't seen it yet. A revelation that brings you to a space of, oh, now I get it. I'm supposed to go over here. Or, oh, wow, I never really knew that person was like that. Now I do, and I have a decision to make. Or, oh, wow, I finally get what my guru or teacher has been telling me for years. It's finally sunk in. That's what I mean by awakening. With this kind of energy, whatever it is, if it's simple and gentle, I pray for that for all of you. If it's more complicated, just ride the wave, because the intention is healing. It's bringing you somewhere to truth, integrity, higher learning. In this energy also that the full moon is initiating, and that will be with us for a long time to come, is an energy where I wouldn't be surprised if we start hearing more in the news about galactic energy, off-planet energy, and communications with that. Learning about other realms, other planet, off-planet energy in the form of healing or food growing. That's definitely coming in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe even if we don't colonize Mars or another planet, that we're using those places to grow food. I feel like that's really kind of why the race for space is on. There's a lot of wars going out up there off planet. I think that's because it can be used for resources. I really think that's what it's all about. Since the dawn of time, man has fought over resources, especially to do with energy and, fuel sources and resources that have to do with power, fighting over natural gases and oil and all kinds of metals. I really believe that is why we've got 6,000 satellites in space, and why all of these countries are now sending vehicles to planets. And I also believe that is why you have people like Elon Musk doing private space travel, because they're looking at all of these other planets, the physical realm, as resources. And we all know what happens when new resources are discovered, or new areas where resources are discovered. It is wars. Wars happen. Everyone wants to claim it, right? So that's definitely coming in the future. Also, what I want to say about Jupiter conjuncting the North Node in Taurus, this is an energy of really coming into our destiny. So when you think about the awakening, even if you're going in through really hard truths, and hard truths are coming up to the surface. Remember last week I talked about Scorpio bringing that murky water up. If you are having, a transit that's not so gentle, and maybe some real challenging truths are coming up, or you're seeing the light about certain things, just remember that Jupiter North Node is happening to bring you to your destiny. So suck it up, Buttercup, because whatever hard work we do now is actually going to bring us to somewhere. I actually just got an image in my mind of, going over the rapids, right? And then you come into that beautiful pool of water at the end, and you're like, I did it. I made it through the worst of it. And you get the beautiful scenery and the calmness. That's really what this energy is going to be like from now until probably the end of 2023. This is also about freedom and optimism, because Sagittarius energy is about freedom and optimism. Anyone who's a Sagittarius knows we do not like to have a leash, right? We don't like to be restricted in any way. I one time had someone that I dated, and he said to me, well, I want to go out Friday night, but I'm not going to tell you a time. You tell me the time, because I know you hate restriction. And I was like, wow, this dude really knows me. He's got me down. Let me just tell you when it's going to happen, because not that I'm a control freak. It's because I just don't like to be anywhere where you tell me I have to be. I need to be free. I got to be free. So No restraints for me. So this is going to shine a light on, I'm just reading my notes. I'm sorry, I'm not looking in the camera. This is going to shine a light on truth, honesty, integrity, the law. What did I write here? Oh, beliefs, spiritual beliefs. Our beliefs may be shaken. That Uranus and Mercury, that's like what we believe, what we think in our minds. That may have a new perception coming in with Uranus there. Our beliefs might be shaken a little bit. Also want you to know that this is happening on the ascendant of the United States of America. If we do a chart, the United States of America. So this is definitely going to be an interesting news week over in the US of A. And that is, I think, everything. Uranus conjunct Mercury also, just as a little aside, I saw we had an earthquake in Melbourne this morning. I'm actually taping this on Sunday, the 28th. All that earth energy in Taurus, those planets in Taurus, can cause volcanic eruption, earthquakes, because it's earth energy, and you've got Uranus, you've got Jupiter, you've got like planets that want to shake things up or stir things up in that sign. So you may find the earth physically shaken and stirred. For those of you who watch the Schumann resonance, you're going to see a lot of that. Also, with the Great Awakener, with the Great Attractor, with the North Node, Jupiter, Mercury conjunct Uranus, all of that energy, that can really be like brilliant ideas. It can be, wow, it's coming in, I'm getting it now. Really write this down. Definitely write it down, because the energy is going to start moving very, very quickly as the week progresses. And you really want to make sure that you have everything, like when you are having those beautiful, brilliant moments, you have it somewhere like logged in and written down, because you will not remember them, because the energy is going to move this fast. All right. So not sure how long I've been on. I forgot to check my clock. So I hope that this show's long enough for you guys. And then also, when I talked before about the other thing, which happens later in the month, is Neptune squaring the galactic center. Neptune squaring the galactic center, which happens later in the month. And I'll talk about that on next week's show. Neptune is our connection with spiritual realms. So when it's in square to galactic center, that can definitely be where a lot of the psychic energy is coming from, with these almost like flashes of intuition that we're going to be getting. And this also can seem a little startling for people who maybe have never had that before. So just know that that is coming in order to show us our ability, our resources. Remember, Taurus is resources. So that awakening, those flashes of intuition, they're coming in to show us that we all have the ability to know truth. We all have the ability to connect with the soul on a level where we are absolutely seeing things that are timeless and real, and to know what is your intuition is showing you is true. That's why we get those flashes. So please, please pay attention to them. Don't explain them away. Don't think you're going crazy. You're not. This is definitely an energy of that, and you will find that it's there to make you more conditioned to listen to the intuition that we've all been conditioned not to listen to. And that's just a sad state of affairs, because your intuition will actually carry you everywhere you need to go in life. So now, what I want to talk about a little bit is what a lot of people have been messaging me and calling me and asking me about. It seems like a lot of people, and I just was talking to one of my very good friends about this evening. A lot of people are really a little bit like almost disturbed, because they feel that time is morphing, like time is different, even our ability to discern what time it is, maybe our sleep patterns are a little different. And I've talked about this before on the show. So remember, time is a man-made construct, right? We are conditioned to think you eat breakfast when you wake up, you eat lunch in the middle of the day, you work 9 to 5. But is that a primitive construct that we have created out of our own sensations? Or is it the opposite, where that was created so we had sensation? So we were conditioned to work and do certain things. If we go back to the way the human body and the human mind was really designed, first of all, we're designed not to multitask, which is really, most of us have a relationship with time because we're trying to multitask, which is the worst thing we can do in our lives. It's actually better for us and more of a benefit for us to do one thing at a time and do it well. I think you would all agree if you really stopped and think about that, right? So if we could slow our roll, that in itself would allow us to be a little bit more in sync with time, whatever time is, right? So we have our man-made construct of time that goes by the clock. And then we have the cosmic time clock, right? We don't really know in other realms, angels or creator energy, we don't really know how they tell time, right? When someone passes over and they're on the other side, like what is time for them? I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. So time is definitely a man-made construct where we are here in the third dimension. So many of us are starting to feel that dissolve, like it could be any time, or it could be day, night, night, day. Oh, I feel like eating dinner, but it's breakfast, or because we're dissolving that three-dimensional time and space. And that is because as human beings, as a species, we are being elevated to a different embodiment, light codes coming in. Even if you go out and you take a walk, or if you live by the ocean, or if you live by the forest, whatever part of the world you're watching this from, just go out and look at the light. Light is different now. The light looks different. It feels different. Is that because we as a species are changing, or is the light changing? I think we as a species are changing. We're more open. We are becoming more exposed to light codes. We are becoming creatures that can absorb more light. And as such, our time constraint will dissolve because we don't need time as we've been conditioned to need it. It is outmoded. The 9 to 5 clock, the 12 to 12 clock, the 24 hours in a day, that is all outmoded now. And even more so just from, three-dimensional things that have happened since COVID. How many people work from home, don't work a 5-day work week, or take breaks when they want, or have more leisure time, or time is being spent in a really different way. So we're feeling it different as well. So I just don't want anyone to think that they're losing their mind or losing their cognitive thing if you feel time is changing or morphing. Sometimes I have friends, I don't see energy. I do see energy in, clairvoyantly, but I don't see energy in the world. I don't usually, once in a while I have, but I don't usually see energy passing through. I have friends who do see energy like that. And sometimes they'll just be sitting somewhere and all of a sudden, like, almost see energy move. That's the time we're living in. Things are speeded up and the world is really changing. Just like if you go back to prehistoric times when we had dinosaurs roaming the earth, that species changed, it morphed, right? There are some animals that have been on the earth for, maybe hundreds of years that are still here. And scientists and geneticists can see how they've morphed in their lifetimes. Well, we morph too. Human beings are morphing. So in this lifetime, in this time space, we are morphing our idea, our perception, our functionality of time, because we are being prepared for those of us who are light workers, and those of us like all of you watching who are really seeking a more spiritual path, a more higher way of being, a more higher consciousness. We are morphing into the embodiment and living and functioning in a higher consciousness. So what the hell would we need time for anyway? We're just going to be. We're going to just be. Like for those of you who do yoga, when I'm in the yoga studio, there is no time. I can't really tell you if the class was an hour and a half. I'm in now. That's the only time that really exists, is now. Me sitting here right now doing this show, not worrying about what I'm going to do afterwards, not worried about what I did before I set up. That's time. Time is basically just a sensation of being in the now. So, kind of be introspective about that and realize that when you do feel a time hop or time being almost misplaced, it feels like at times, like, oh, maybe you're driving to work and you don't remember driving there. Yeah, you're probably on angel wings, that's what I like to think. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the time tonight. I'm going to pick a few cards for world energy. Just got to run over there and get my little card holder. Hold on one second. Okay. So want to pull some cards for the energy for the Sagittarius moon of the week. Also, for those of you who like to get your cards read and like to know what the weekly energy is, you can go onto my channel on YouTube, Zencuda, and you can actually watch Tarot Tuesday, which I do every Tuesday. It is a really quick, like 10-minute video about every zodiac sign's energy for the week with tarot cards. I do it with the elements, air, earth, water, and fire. And you can hop on over there and look at that. It's usually up either very late Monday evening or Tuesday morning. So usually by midnight Tuesday, midnight Monday for Tuesday, it's up on my YouTube channel, Zencuda. If you haven't subscribed to that, please do, because I do a lot of pop-up videos about astrology and just energy and just thoughts I might have walking in the park, spiritual wisdom. So definitely subscribe to that if you like this video or if you want more spiritual wisdom. This video, of course, is the Soul Space podcast, which is on live every Monday night at 7 p.m., not 7 a.m., 7 p.m. on Strong Island Television. And also, it's always recorded and put on the Zencuda website as well, the Zencuda YouTube channel. So I am going to pull 3 cards for world energy and see what we got. Right? It's so funny because last week I was doing live cards on the show for everyone who commented, and we kept getting the Queen of Pentacles like 5-6 times. And then when I did Tarot Tuesday, it kept coming up too. So last week was definitely a Queen of Pentacles week, I have to say. I don't know if that ever happens to you, if any of my tarot friends are out there reading. And also on those Tuesday videos, I give you tips on reading tarot as well, so that you can develop your own connection with your soul space through the cards. So I'm going to pick 3 cards right now. It's so funny, the cards almost filled and the Queen of Pentacles came up. Shuffle them again. Okay, so here we have, oh, this is going to be good. Okay. Star card, yay, I love that for the awakening. Yes, 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 yes. And we've got, ooh, interesting cards. Okay, so let's reinterpret these for you. So just got to tilt these because the lighting, I know you got to be able to see. Here we go. If I go this way a little bit, maybe. Yeah, there we go. So, and I love this little tarot card holder. I actually got this off Amazon. It was like 20 bucks. And it's so cool because when I'm on camera, I don't have to like hold the cards up in front of my face. Now you guys can really see them. So the first card that I actually picked was this card here. I should tell the story the way it came in. So let me do that. Hopefully you guys can see the cards. Yep. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So the first card that I actually picked was this card, which is the 2 of Pentacles. And the 2 of Pentacles is a card of balance. And usually when we see the 2 of Pentacles, it means that you have enough money saved, enough money earned, and enough money in your future, and also some abundance from the past in order to make you, let me put these, I want to make sure you can see them. There you go. In order to do whatever you need to do with your financial obligations. So when we see the 2 of Pentacles, it really means a card of balancing money. And that's a very interesting card to come up because we do have that Uranus in Taurus, which is where it was in 1939, 1940. It has not been in that 20-degree and higher degree of Taurus since then. So that's a really interesting energy to get this card. Maybe it means that something is going to be a little bit tumultuous with our finances in the world, but in the end, it's because it needs a rebalance. Maybe it's a redistribution of wealth, a redistribution of authority. It could be that too. It also might be symbolic of us tapping into our own resources to create more financial balance in our life. So if there's something that you have that is a unique talent, make sure you're bringing that forward, especially with all this awakening energy. And you are also releasing what no longer serves you and is outmoded so that that energy can come into you and really give you that balance. And the reason why I think that that's probably what this card means as far as developing our own unique talents and resources, that Taurian energy, for how we can actually expand our financial life in a very altruistic way. You know, how can we be service in the world? Because the next card I got was the Star card. And the Star card is a star. It's a major arcana card in the tarot. And it's a card that symbolizes for us the merging of our spiritual and material worlds, that we're coming into complete balance, that we've been awakened to the importance of the spirit as much as the material. And we've been able to actually meld them, mold them, balance them, integrate them is the word I'm looking for, in order to be more prosperous in our life. And really coming into a time when we know what we need and what we don't need, how much is enough, and really being satisfied in that. So it's really interesting as we have a full moon coming in that's all about awakening and bringing in a higher realm of energy and integrity and really higher learning and awakening to our true potential and resources that we would get these two cards. Just really beautiful energy. And then the next card that I got is the Five of Swords. And this is also a very interesting energy for me because we're coming into a time where the nodes of the moon are going to be changing signs in another month. And right now they're in Scorpio and Taurus. The south node is in Scorpio, the north node is in Taurus. And a lot of times when the nodes of the moon are changing and when they're in the final degrees of the sign before changing, it's a time when we've really had the culmination of certain battles and whatever the nodes of the moon were teaching us while in those signs. They last in those signs about 18 months. So it's been in Scorpio and Taurus for 18 months and completing that up. And the Five of Swords card is a card of completion. It's competition, it's battle, but if you can see, I'll try and put a little closer to the swords are down, they're going home. The opponents have caved in. He's defeated his opponents, this beautiful warrior. He's actually claimed 3 swords, right? And he's winning. And this is really symbolic of, to me, of the culmination of the energy of these nodes of the moon coming in to teach us an arc of development of some kind. And now these 3 cards tell the story of that energy finishing up, releasing things on the full moon that no longer serve us. What have we been working on for the last 18 months? Where do we really need to go in order to bring that spiritual and material balance to us? I think the universe is really showing us that there's balance to be had if we allow the awakening to come in and bring us to the revelation of that. So whatever truth comes out for us in these next few days, next month or so, make sure that you are embracing it and realizing you should have gratitude for it. And we need to have gratitude for it because there's medicine in it and it's really a great awakening for all of us. So that's just about the show for tonight. What I would love to do is hear from all of you guys in the comments below what you'd like to hear on this show, what you'd like me to do a show about. And, you know, maybe there's something that you want to come on the show and talk about that you've discovered that can help somebody else going through a trial or tribulation. I do try and make sure that the Soul Space podcast is inspirational in that regard, and that we're all really relating and connecting with each other. And now I'm just going to pull one single card for the full moon energy on Saturday and to tell all of you guys what's going on the next couple of days before that full moon. And this will just determine the energy we're going to close the show out with. So let me see what I've got here. See me shuffling. Shuffle. Okay. Tell me to pick this card. Oh, I love it. We got the Ace of Pentacles, guys. If you look at the Ace of Pentacles, what does this card symbolize? Hand of God giving us abundance. The pentacles coming out from this beautiful hand from the cloud. The Ace of Pentacles is abundance. It is divinity. If you look really closely, I'm going to hold the card up again for you. From the bottom, you see this beautiful arbor of all new growth and greenery and all the white light in the card. This is one of the most beautiful cards in the tarot deck. It is a card of abundance. It's a card of new beginnings. I know full moons, we don't usually say they're new beginnings. They're usually culminations and endings. But I really think whatever you need to release during this full moon will make space for a beautiful new beginning as the month progresses. So remember the Ace of Pentacles. Allow that coin to come into the palm of your hand. Have gratitude for it. And just say a quiet prayer tonight that whatever transition, whatever revelations come in for you, they come in gently and beautifully in order to show you your truth, to bring you to a beautiful place of healing and the intention to live your full potential. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful hour of Soul Space Podcast. I look forward to seeing you all again Monday night. Definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel, Zencuda, because I'm going to be doing a lot more videos there during the week, and you'll miss them if you're not a subscriber. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you next Monday night at 7, if not before on YouTube. Bye-bye.